Hey people, welcome back to the Revelations of a Ranting Sheep. I'm literally a mess. Okay. This video is being recorded late and not late in the day, but like late in the week. Um, I don't know. Okay, so I got distracted on Sunday and here I am. I kind of feel like honestly, I feel like I don't even it's hot. I just came from outside. I feel like I don't even want to record this. I feel like I'm over all of this. I don't know if it's just because of this person that I'm going to talk about today, or if it's about just me being over the entire thing. What what do I know? I'm a spring baby, and in New York we're having amazing weather. Amazing weather. So I'm wearing like a light sweater, a little sweater vest situation. And I wasn't wearing no jacket, no hat, no nothing. When spring comes around, honey, I just want to be outside with the birds, just chirping away. And like spring makes me happy, even though I have allergies. Um, Spring makes me happy. Anyhow, I'm gonna try to make this quick, okay? Let me just, considering that I am all over the place, let me just confirm that this is who it is that I put on schedule to talk about. Show is okay. So this is a little bit of a continuation, not really, but kind of last week, but it's definitely not going to be as graphic. Um, so let me just get into it. First of all, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you're having an amazing month. I hope your year is still going amazing, and I hope it ends amazing. I hope your day ends amazing. I hope your month ends amazing. I hope your year ends amazing. Like, let's do big things this year, okay? Because obviously the universe, the Lord has, I don't know, He's doing things, honey. Because the fact that we have not had harsh weather, at least in New York, I don't know about other people, um, that to me speaks volumes. Like the Lord is saying that change needs to happen, not just on planet, but for us too. So we need to do different things. Like if you guys, whatever it is that you're struggling with, get on it, fix it, for your children's children and your children's children's children. Okay? Because that's what it's all about. Like, we're not here to just live for self. We are here to live for self and learn so that we could then pass along to the next generation, even if it's not our own kin. Let's be neighborly and pass along to those that the Lord allows to come into our atmosphere, into our little bubbles and stuff. So, gain as much information as possible and be kind to people. I say this, and I mean, I can't say that I don't be kind, but sometimes, sometimes silence could be a little bit unkind, and I tend to just be silent. Be kind to people because you just never know what folks are going through. Um, you see how I'm avoiding the topic? So, anyways, into the topic, okay? Because I do not want to be sitting here. It is nice outside and I want to get my hands in my plants. I've been saying that for the longest and I have not gotten into the plants. So, into the topic. This dude is from junior high school. We're back in junior high school. So this was my first official boyfriend, like for real, for real. Like I had one before him, but that wasn't even serious. And yeah, that just wasn't serious. I'm not even gonna get into it. He's not someone who I'm gonna speak of ever in this. I mean, maybe I will someday. But in this season, he's not someone who is on my list. But love him to death. Like my mom really liked him the first technically the first one. Um, and every time I see him, we say what up and all that. But my first like actual official boyfriend, this was my first kiss. Um, I guess you can say my first heartbreak, child, my first drama, my first, when it comes to like what we think of when it comes to teenage love, like he was my first boyfriend. So, oh, where do I want to go? I just thought of something, but I don't even really think I want to. I don't think that's all relevant, or maybe it is. Well, it's coming to my mind, so I'm gonna just say it. So we met in the seventh grade. Um, he was already in a relationship, and the only reason our path crossed is because the girls that I hung out with in junior high school, they went to the same um, they went to the same elementary school, which he actually went to the same elementary school as me, but I believe that he got kicked out and he ended up in finishing off um the elementary in that school. And so that's how they met. And so one day he was just like heading home and he saw us walking and he was saying hi to his friends, which are my friends. And then, I stayed quiet because that's what I do. Like, I'm talkative, but in the beginning, I'm very quiet because I like to listen. Like, I want to hear what you about and everything before I open my mouth and say what I'm about. So I was very quiet, and I think eventually he was like, "And what's good with her? Like, why is she so quiet? Does she talk?" And I'm like I don't like people being rude. I've never liked people being rude. Um, and I'm like, yeah, I could talk. First of all, you don't even acknowledge me. You just come here and talk to them, which is perfectly fine. But then you want to be rude with it. Like, just say hi. Anyway, so um, whatever, that started our conversation. Eventually, um, okay, so I was, and I don't want to say I was. I feel like just children are this way naturally. You don't know the rules of a relationship. You don't really understand the boundaries that come with relationships unless somebody is teaching you, unless you grew up with parents who are married and stuff like that. And nobody was like I didn't know anything. I just knew that my mom was friends with married people and everything was cool. She was friends with both husband and wife, and everyone would just come over the house together separately. And so for me, I have a perspective of men and women can be friends, and men and women can be friends with single men or women, without boundaries being crossed. And maybe that comes from the fact that I am coming from a smaller community where, people look out for each other. So maybe that's something that's normal in smaller communities. Um, Nonetheless, that's my perspective. And so I will say now, just understanding the way of the land, I can say that I definitely crossed boundaries with him that I shouldn't have because I didn't know, which was even though he was with this girl, I used to like not hold his hand, but like I will hold his thumb. And I remember this one girl asking about it, like, "Yo, is that your girl?" And we was like, "No, like we just friends." And I thought it strange, but he never said anything to me, and my friends never said anything to me. So in my mind, we in junior high school. Like I don't know anything. I just came to America. Uh, what was that? So 4, 5, 6. 4 years before, like, and I don't go out that much. So it's not like I'm learning the rules of the land, really. Like, this was really my first like head-on situation with like, what are you doing? Like, that's my dude. You know what I mean? So, anyways, protect your children, yo. Um, so yeah, I used to hold his thumb and stuff like that, and he never stopped me. I remember him asking me, like, why are you holding my thumb? And I'm just like, because why not? Like, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. Like, I was just messing around. Like, I'm a very touchy feely person. And I was just holding his thumb. And now that I think about it, he was probably asking because he knew that it was something wrong, but he wasn't saying anything. So I'm like, I'm gonna let go of your thumb then, since you don't want me to hold it. And then he was like, no, you can hold it. And I'm like, okay. So boundaries being crossed. He didn't protect his girlfriend. He didn't protect me. My friends didn't protect me. Nobody protected me. So I'm out here just looking like a fool, doing things that I didn't know I shouldn't be doing with somebody. Lord help. Okay, sit. I think out of all my relationships, this is the one that I just cannot stand because some part of my innocence was it just wasn't protected. Like, I was just out there in the cold, nobody was protecting me, and it just turned into such a ugly situation, uglier than it needed to be. Let me move on. So now, um now he's like interested in me, even though he has a girlfriend. And without giving the minute details, I ended up being somebody that whenever he was upset with this girl, he would come to me, and me not understanding in the very beginning what was happening, I would gladly like have him over, you know. Um, my mom knew him. My mom liked him and everything. Um, Even my mom didn't protect me. Like, oh my gosh. So eventually I understood, like, oh wait, he's being trifling. And then his girlfriend found out that him and I had a thing. Found out when they were broken up. And of course, that bothered her, which rightfully so, that would bother anybody. My problem was that she was looking at me like I was the problem, when in reality, I was constantly asking him, like, but what about your girlfriend? I would call her by name, respectfully so. What about your girlfriend? And he would be like, oh, no, we done this, that, and the third. Like, he used to just throw her under the bus. And so when it came a point to her confronting me, it wasn't like a serious confrontation, but it was a bit of a confrontation. Um, I told her, I was like, I constantly ask this boy about you, and he will constantly tell me that y'all not together. So, like, it may seem like I'm doing something, like I'm the problem, but honestly, he's the problem. Um, and I'm sure that she confronted him, and I even confronted him, like, get out of here with your messy self. Like, why are you even bringing me into this, right? Like, it was just ridiculous. Eventually he was done with, like, at one point he was done with both of us, ended up going out with this other girl, and I'm just looking at him like, you literally just broke up with me because you said this, that, and the third with some niece of yours, and you're upset, but now here I see you going out with this other chick. And so he literally did to me what he did to her. And I'm just like, that was like my first lesson. I'm telling you, he was like my first lesson when it comes to just messiness. Anyways, so now he wants to come back, like, senior year in middle school. He now wants to commit himself to me. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I could do that. Like at this point, we had been broken up and back together, I don't know, like 5 times, maybe 4 times. Like I'm just like, I'm good. Like this is whack. So he begged Scorpio. This is why I can't do Scorpios. Like I've met really nice, decent Scorpios, and I think they have such amazing, good attributes that I really do appreciate. But they crazy. They have a they be off. You know what I mean? Like it's just no disrespect, you know? And I didn't even want to make it a zodiac thing because it's not that big of a deal, but also like you have to speak, I have to speak to the things that I see, the consistencies, you know, the patterns that I see. Anyways, we ended up getting back together. So we graduated as boyfriend and girlfriend. I went out with him one more year, which was my freshman year in high school. And this fool, like he had eyes on, I didn't even know. So I was raised in Brooklyn, um, spent majority of those years in Canarsie, and shout out to Canarsie. And I went to high school all the way in Queens, like deep Queens. I'm not talking about, you know, Cypress Hills border or yeah, that would be my border because I'm close to the L train. So not like, you know, borderline. I'm talking deep Queens. Okay. I already told you I went to Andrew Jackson. So it boggled my mind to know that there was things that he was questioning me about at the end of a school day, like, oh, what was this? What was that? And I'm like, what? Like, how does he know this? You know? But it's because he had like he just knew so like he was a popular kid in middle school. Um Me dating a popular kid. And then I find out like he's even more connected than you can ever think because he has eyes on you in your high school. Like what? This is low key a movie. So he would question me about stuff. He was always very aggressive. Um, like there's a scar that I have on my, I want to say right knee, where we like he will walk us. It will always be me walking with my friends and him. Oh God, I don't want to talk about this. He is so like that whole story just. Ugh. Anyways, but he is so important to like my growth and to what I like and don't like. So he had to be on the list. Um, so yeah, let me just have a moment of silence, please. So he was a very aggressive boy. He was a big boy. Um, and being in high school, so being in junior high school for me was kind of like those 3 years were really like my childhood. And I did it up. I did all kinds of things, yo. Like I skipped school. I skipped school a lot, especially in the 6th grade. Child, I skipped school so much. Um, just to walk around, because I'm not that bad of a kid. Like I'm not smoking, drinking, or anything like that, but I'm definitely skipping just to walk around and just enjoy the day and just be free. Just be free, because in my household it was like this, like you can't breathe. So and then in middle school, that's a time where kids, their hormones start to wake up, and child's man, seventh grade was wild. Okay. So when I got to high school, I'm with all this being said, I'm still a very serious person, a very responsible person by nature. And so when I was graduating middle school to go into high school, I remember talking to myself and saying, like, I want to go to a great college, just because that's the pattern of things over here. So I was thinking, like, I really want to go to a great college. And to go to a great college, I really have to go have great grades. My grades weren't the best in junior high school, and that's because I wasn't really taking it that serious. Um, so I really wanted to leave the past in the past. And when I was choosing high schools, it was about what high school can I go to where I'll be able to leave this in the past? Like I'll be able to leave all of this in the past, is not going to follow me. Um, and it's crazy because I think even though I went to Andrew Jackson, I think there was somebody from middle school that I saw. I don't know if he was in Andrew Jackson. It was definitely a boy, I believe. Or was it a girl? I don't know. I can't remember. But I remember seeing somebody and I was like, yo, I came all the way over there, over here. And you mean to tell me I still see somebody? Like it was just so stupid. Um, but nonetheless, I um I just wanted to leave the past in the past. There was as much fun as I had in middle school. I really wanted to be more serious. And my grades definitely showed how serious I wanted to be. And being in that relationship felt like I didn't fully leave everything behind. Like I'm still in this relationship with this boy who is just still very aggressive. Now, I am recording this on Valentine's Day, and I think, man, look how things just work out. I have, I'm gonna choose the story that coincides with this day. So when I started high school, there was this one boy who was just girl crazed, right? And he just had a crush on everybody, like everybody. He's just constantly just bothering you, just, oh my gosh, he was so annoying. And so Valentine's Day 2004. Valentine's Day 2004, this boy comes to school with um man, I wish I had my stuff over here to show you guys. So when you get a bouquet of flowers, um the white flowers that they put around the bouquet to kind of just fluff it up and make it look nicer and fuller, to get together with the greenery. He bought a whole bunch of just those white things. And I don't know, like, high school kids, like we don't got no job, but we want whatever. I didn't want nothing from him, but I do remember just saying to him, like he bought a whole bunch and was passing it out to different girls, and I was one of them. And I was like, first of all, I do not want this. And he's like, no, happy Valentine's Day, whatever. And I was like, no, first of all, you mad cheap. Like, this is the stuff that they fluff the flowers with. Like, where's the roses? Like, child, it was a whole thing. But anyways, he gave me the thing. And yes, I could have thrown it away. But I didn't. I gave it to even though I didn't want it, I'm a very nice person. And I don't want to just be that mean and just throw stuff away. So I took it with me to Brooklyn. These My friend and my boyfriend at the time both went to, first of all, they're both an issue. They used to go to Sheepshead, um, and then they ended up, or was it the other way around? It was the other way around, I think. I think they both went to Canarsie High School, and then they both ended up in Sheepshead Bay. Um, Nonetheless, details that are not necessary as usual. Um, Canarsie High School is right there by the L train. So they will like my travel from Queens would just get me to Canarsie just in time for them to come out of school and for me to see him before I get on the bus to go home. And so I remember texting her and saying like, yo, like this dude gave me flowers or whatever, and I need you to come and get them before this boy come over here and make it a bigger deal than it is. And so she came, I gave it to her, and honestly, it was a waste of time because he was like, oh, who gave you those flowers? And I was like, ain't nobody give me no flowers. What are you talking about? He was like, first of all, I didn't see, I was about to say your name, Lord. I didn't see her with no flowers all day. And now all of a sudden she comes to meet you and she has flowers. Like, that's not her flowers. Yeah, I think I'm stupid. And I was just like, I mean, was I impressed by the fact that he put that together? I don't think I'm impressed. I'm impressed now that he put that together. But he, he, he made it such a big deal and he was just so like, he just such a big deal. Like just making a whole scene on Rockaway Parkway. And I'm just like, there's already things in my past in this relationship, because we were together for 2 years, I believe, that I'm like, I can't continue being with this person. Like he's just too much. And his aggression is too much. Like the whole thing where the man walks on the outside of the sidewalk and the woman walks on the inside. Like instead of saying like, "Hey, you know, I would like you to walk on the inside," and just nicely pull me to the side, or even not even pull me, not even put hands on me, like just switch around yourself. He would literally drag me to the other side every single time, like I'm a child. And every time he will be upset, he's always raising his voice. And he was just, it was just a lot. And I was young, and it was my first boyfriend, like serious committed boyfriend. And I was like, I can't, I can't do this no more. So the summer of 2004, before I started high school, sophomore year, I broke up with him. And I remember telling my friend, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Can you please come with me? And she was like, yeah, because I mean, just knowing the whole situation now, she's just into, people who just like drama. Like, and it's not that they like drama per se. It's really that isn't exciting, like it excites them. It doesn't have to be drama. It's just like an adrenaline rush in a way. And so she's like, yeah, because everybody, like, if you know him, it's gonna be drama. Like he's not gonna just let go of anybody or anything without fussing. So he I went to his house, and I remember I told I was about to say her name again, Lord. I told her, go and get him for me. And I stayed at the end of the block. Anyways, the details. And I just, I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I'm breaking up with you. Um, I just want to focus on school and whatnot, and this, that, and the third. And this boy, I just wish that our foreheads were like a TV of sorts or something so that I could show you guys a replay of what happened because child, this boy on the very top of his lungs was wilding out on me, child. And I expected that because we know who he is. Like, we know who you are. Like, we knew you was gonna be like this. So this is why I asked my friend to come, just in case. So he's yelling. Now there's people, like there were adults doing something, and they're like looking. His friends lived like 2 or 3 houses from the corner. And I just remember looking and seeing his friend at the door and his friend's little brother at the window with popcorn. Yo, I cannot stand them. So, all of that was comical to me. I knew that he was going to yell at me. So I was like just standing there. And I know, like, I remember telling people that story and they're like, "Wow, you crazy. Like, ain't nobody going to yell at me that day." And I'm just like, honestly, it wasn't a big deal to me because one, I'm breaking up with you. And two, so like, hence, this is why we need to break up because you be wilding. But also, it's like, he's hurt, right? Give him the chance to just let it, like, my rationalization was give him the chance to just let it out. Like, that's the least you can do. Like, you ain't gonna really be with him no more, even though you dead told him that y'all gonna get back together once you graduate from high school, which was such a big lie. And I am so sorry that I even said that to him, but I feel like it would lessen the blow, and it really didn't. Like, he still went off. And so, anyways, he continued going off, and I'm just like looking across the street at my friend. She's standing over there with his friend who came down the block, and she's like mimicking things in the back. Like, I guess, like, I couldn't really understand, but I guess she was like, "Girl, you crazy? Like, why you?" Like, it was just so. Anyway, eventually he calms down and he looks at me dead in my eyes and he starts talking to me softly, and man. So when I was younger, I've noticed that it has changed. So definitely when I was younger, I had this thing where, because my mom is constantly like, yeah, like she's always just going off. So, you have that barrier of like, okay, whatever. But is when people start to speak softly to me that I really would get emotional. And the same thing happened with him when he finally calmed down and just like talked to me, and he was like, I really love you, and I'm gonna wait for you, and I'm gonna build you that house that you said you wanted. Child, was I 12? How old are you when you were in high school? Freshman year. 13? Whatever. I was in tears. I was like, in my head, I just kept thinking to myself, dang, man, I didn't want to cry. Why he couldn't just yell and go back, so that I could feel good about like, yeah, this is exactly why I'm breaking up with you. But now you all soft talking about you gonna build me my house and whatever. It was just ridiculous. But anyways, it was just sad because I knew that I was done with him. And um, a real huge reason for getting out of that relationship for me, and that's the lesson. I mean, there's more lessons really, but the huge lesson, I've always been really, I don't want to say really good, because obviously if I've been really good, then last week's conversation wouldn't even be a story. But at times I've been able to just see things and kind of avoid um avoid turbulence. And I just felt like there was so many red flags building, not just with the, oh, you basically leaving your girlfriend to come to me, and not just that he would, um there was a lot of things that he did that was just very inconsiderate to me. And those things did play a part, but the biggest thing for me truly was his aggressive nature. And I'm just like, if I stay with this boy into manhood and I don't learn to stand on my own and really like nip that in the bud, um, like there could be a chance where this aggression could turn into domestic violence, like for real, for real. And I've never been a part of domestic violence. I've never seen it with no one that I've ever been friends with. Nobody has ever spoken to me about it. Like it's just not something that is part of my perspective or reality. Um, but I felt that thing strong in my spirit. I felt it so strong because I'm like, if you can do certain things that you've done, pushing me to the side, pushing me because you're agitated at something that my friends and I are doing, and me scraping my knee. And, if you can do stuff like that, if you could yell at me on the block, having no consideration or respect for myself, or yourself, or even your mom who's right down the block. Like, it's not a long block, it's right down the block. If these are not the things that were instilled in you, I mean, now as an adult, it's like, oh, maybe in the household, maybe that's what he saw. And that's his journey. But that's not something that I have to put up with. So for me, I just had to leave because that was a scary thing to kind of be like, we're almost adults and you a big boy, like you bigger than me, a lot bigger than me, a lot stronger than me. Um, I can't imagine. I can't. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. I gotta leave out of this relationship, especially because he, um, I think this part of the story matters. I mean, remember, we're in middle school when we started dating. And wow, this was Valentine's Day too. That's crazy. So Valentine's Day 2003, it definitely wasn't 2002. It was definitely 2003. So Valentine's Day 2003, um, he says to me that he loves me. I said Valentine's Day 2003, right? Good. He says that he loves me, and we was at the Chinese store. That Chinese store is still there, y'all. That is crazy. Every time I go to Canarsie, I'm just like, wow. Um, and I'm like, in my head, right? I'm like, love me. What the hell? Like, wait, love? What are you talking about, love? Like, We kids. Like, I wasn't thinking that we kids, but it's like, what are we talking about? Like, this is a good time. Like, we just talking. And matter of fact, you are in a relationship right now. What are you talking about? You love me when you literally in a relationship with Shorty. I keep thinking about this dress that I was wearing. I used to love that dress. It was a blush pink, and I didn't really like pink, but I really loved that dress. It was a blush pink dress with black flowers on the side. It was so cute. Anyway, um, so yeah, you in a relationship and we over here in a Chinese store eating food, and you want to tell me that you love me. And I looked at him, and he kind of took me outside to tell me because he didn't want to say it in front of our friends. And I looked at him and I was like, I didn't laugh, but I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Literally, it was so awkward. And he looked at me and he was like, what? Thank you. What you mean? I just told you I love you, and that's all you gotta say. And I was like, what do you want me to say? He was like, what? Oh, that baby got so mad at me because I did not say it back to him. And I just felt like that was really unreasonable to force I love you out of somebody. Like, if that's not how they feel, that's not how they feel. And I said to him, I was like, I don't know why you getting mad. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I like you, you know, isn't that enough? And he was just upset, honey. He did not want to hear nothing from me. And I don't remember exactly when I told him I loved him, but I do remember telling him that I loved him um, a lot later, not because I meant it, but because I felt like it was always going to be an issue if I didn't say it. So sorry to that man. I never really meant it. I liked him though. That should be enough. Children. Honestly, I would have been better off with my mom telling me you can date when you get to high school. I don't know why my mom didn't like, I mean, I guess the Lord allowed it, right? For a reason. Um, Child, that man, that boy brought me so much grief. And then his family, ew, when I think about it now, I'm like, child, I would not marry you anyway. We would have still been broken up because I don't want to marry into his family. Not to say, listen, and I'm saying it really with attitude, and I really shouldn't because that's kind of disrespectful. I loved one of his aunts was so, oh, she was so sweet. I loved her. Um, but really and truly, I didn't really vibe with that family. I feel like they probably, oh my goodness, they probably did. They probably looked at me like, look at this light skinned girl. Because the only one that I vibed with was really the light skinned aunt. And I'm like, even his mom was low key like, I mean, she wasn't rude or anything, but she had a little vibe. You know what I'm saying? And even like when we first started going out, I remember him saying to me, oh my goodness. He said to me, oh, I want you to come meet my mom. And when you do, I want you to ask her for permission to date me. This will be a good time to have good editing because I'll be putting a whole bunch of gifs or gifs, whatever it's called, up on here. You want me to ask your mom? But he was the one who taught me that, and that's exactly why I told my fiance, I was like, I want you to ask my mom permission to date me. So thank you to him for that. But like asking a girl to actually, and then his mother didn't even say like, she just laughed, but she wasn't like, what? Let me tell you something, little girl. You don't ever ask he is supposed to ask your mother. She was supposed to be like, did he ask your mother? She didn't do none of that. So ugh, I'm sorry, but it's a no for me. Mm-mm, it's a no. That relationship had to go down the drain. And you know what? Even after it ended, um, it was a big thing. Like he was so hurt. And even maybe a couple weeks ago, I was talking to Miss Libby Belu, and she's really into astrology, and she was explaining some things to me that made me realize, oh my goodness, so I really did hurt his feelings, huh? And she was like, you probably did. Because in my mind, I was like, you always got girls around you anyway, so you could just get another one. Like, what? I didn't really consider it that I really actually hurt his feelings by breaking up with him, even though he used to break up with me and go back to his ex and vice versa to both of them, to both of us. And he even hurt her feelings to the point where, I mean, I hope she doesn't still have um, ill thoughts about me. I hope I'm a distant memory, even if I ever pop up, an image in some way, in her mind or physically. But honestly, that girl could not stand me because of that. And I was just like, I felt a way about that because I'm like, yo, I used to make sure, and I remember telling her, like, telling my friends, like, please confirm for me. Like, I didn't just violate a situation. Like, I used to stand up for you all the time. He was the one who was like, no, I'm telling you, like, I'm not with her no more. Like, it's all good or whatever. And me, like an idiot, would believe him. And so this girl just, it was a thing. And then years later in high school, when I went on Facebook, somebody did like a page for the middle school, and so I'm always taking pictures. So I end up putting a whole bunch of pictures. I think some friends put a whole bunch of pictures, and they ended up tagging him in the pictures. And it became like another argument because he was like, wow, those are good times. Like, Cynthia taught me how to truly love or whatever, like, or the true meaning of love or something like that. And Shorty came in, his ex-girlfriend came in and was like, wow, like, she taught you the truth. And he was like, listen, it was like a whole thing where he had to be like, no, I loved you, whatever. But like with Cynthia was different. And I'm just like, this is following me. And I just had to get off of Facebook. Not because of that. There's actually church reasons why I got off of Facebook. But like we used to call each other. So, anyways, he used to call me Minnie. And I remember someone telling me, it might have been a friend of mine, like, oh, he made he because back then it was all about the spray paint shirts. And he got a shirt made saying Minnie is dead. Oh my goodness. And then when we become adults now, because of this girl, which be careful the friends that you make for real. Or even the friends that you keep. Just know that um, some friends have a time limit, and that's okay. She brought us together again, and it was just such a disgusting evening where he was yelling at me again as if I'm his child because I broke up with him and I started going out with somebody in high school immediately after. And I'm just like, that looked just like him, which happens to be my high school sweetheart. And I'm like, he looks nothing like you. He's shorter than you. Y'all both big, but he's shorter than you. You a black man. He's an Indian man. Like, what are you talking about? Y'all look nothing alike. But I don't know. I guess that was the pain. um, yeah. So Moral of this story is, if you're in a relationship where somebody is constantly being physically aggressive with you, it doesn't matter if they're not slapping you across the face, punching you, or nothing like that. Being very aggressive, pulling you to the side instead of being a gentleman. I think those signs are important to. Those things are very important things to pay attention to, and I think they're worthy to. It's not good to assume all the time, but I think it's safe to make assumptions in this regard, so that you are not later in a domestic violence situation. And I really do truly feel like I've dodged a bullet. Um, so I hope he's doing well. I really do hope that I am now a distant memory in his mind, because forever it was like I was still there. And I get it to some extent, but also karma is a B. Sorry. Because you were doing all these things. You did it to this girl, then you did it to me, then you did, and you thought that I was just going to sit around and see all of this. And it's not even like you're becoming like a different person. You now think that you could be aggressive with me and all of this and all of that, and I'm gonna just stick around because what? Because I just been here for 4 years, 5 years, child. I don't know. I hope he's doing great. I remember stumbling upon his stepbrother, and I'm like, oh yeah, how he's doing? And he's like, oh, I don't know, like he's just out there somewhere, and that he moved to Nevada. And I was like, Nevada, that's a strange place to go, but all right, he's far away, so if he's even still far away. Um, so anyways, yeah, that's that story. Um Next week, I'm gonna end it just like that. There's nothing else in my spirit. I feel empty. Well, guys, again, if you in New York or in the South, because I know the South is having amazing weather too, enjoy it. Go get your hands dirty. Um, go enjoy the weather. Go outside. Don't stay inside. Do something. If there's something that seems to be a generational curse, and you feel like you're interested in unfolding that trauma, then the Lord may have picked you to end that curse. For me, it's love first, finances second, and so I'm about to go and start this new bank account. Okay? We trying to get right in 2023. We've been trying to get right, and we are continuing in 2023. All right, y'all. So I'll see you next week. Love you. Toodaloo.